Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a clip for you from a new judge for my channel. His name is Judge either Spataro or Spataro. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but Spataro. And he is in Elkhart, Indiana. And I got this from a channel called Elkhart Court. Although it's not put out by the court, this is somebody that gathers the videos and puts them out. Anyway, the judge is hearing a case from a woman who has a 10-year-old debt, a large one, and she just doesn't want to pay it. She's had opportunity, but she hasn't. I'll let you guys watch.
Do I have Valerie Mann here in court? Valerie Mann? You may come forward and have a seat right at the table here.
Where?
Right at the table right in front of me, either of those chairs. Thank you. And I will call your case number, which is 1409 CC 1163. I'll show that the plaintiff appears by Brad Counsel. That's a Summit Account and Computer Service. And the defendant, Valerie Mann, appears in person. This is a proceeding supplemental matter, and we have it set at defendant's request. Give me one moment to check the docket for this case. All right, there we go. This is an old case. It looks like it was filed in September of 2014. For a little history. Excuse me. It looks like it was transferred to my court from Circuit Court down in Goshen. And it looks like there was a judgment entered way back on July 28th of 2015 in the amount of $4,762.40. Mr. Counsel, do you know the approximate balance as we sit here today?
I'm showing a balance due quite a bit here, Judge, with all the interest over these years. I've got $16,021.29.
Okay. And when's the last time you received a payment on the judgment?
I am not showing that we've received any payments on the judgment.
All right. Ms. Mann, let me place you under oath. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you may put your hand down. What is your full legal name?
Valerie Lynn Mann.
Okay. And let me double check here. Do you still reside at Westwood Drive in Goshen, Indiana?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And ma'am, have you made any payments on this judgment?
I have not. I have not been able to.
Okay. Have you been, it's going on 10 years this September. Have you been employed for any portion of those 10 years?
I have.
Okay. For about how many years out of the 10?
The job I currently am at, I've been there for 2 years.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was a stay-at-home mom for many years and just worked part-time.
Okay. So of the last 10, is it fair to say only about the last 2 have you been employed?
Full-time.
Full-time?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me. And what is the name of your current employer?
Maple City Market Co-op.
I heard City Market, but I didn't hear
Maple City Market
Maple.
Co-op.
Maple City Market. And do you get paid by the hour there?
I do.
Okay. What is your hourly rate of pay? Approximately, if you don't have the exact down to the penny, that's okay.
$16.93.
Okay. About how many hours a week do you work?
Roughly 32, but my shifts are varied. It is a retail job.
Okay.
It goes up and down throughout the year.
Okay. It looks like you'd probably be grossing on average a little over 500. Are you netting close to 400 by chance per week?
I have a copy of the interrogatory that my employer filled out. He sent it back by mail, but he wasn't sure it was received in time. So he gave me a copy.
I don't see it of record, so I'll ask Tina, if you wouldn't mind getting that from Miss Mann, that would be great. Thank you very much. All right, so for the record, the interrogatories from employer indicates that the average weekly gross income is $481.24. So if your gross is close to 500, you might be netting a little under 400. I will share with you, Ms. Mann, under Indiana garnishment laws, a creditor or plaintiff is allowed to garnish up to 1/4 of somebody's net disposable income. So if you're grossing 500 and netting 400 a week, 1/4 of 400 is 100. Now, I recognize that that's a significant portion of somebody's income. It could be 400 or more in a month. So what I usually try to do is give someone the opportunity to make a proposal for a different payment plan, and if it's acceptable to the plaintiff, I can go down that path. What do you believe would be a reasonable amount of money to pay each week on the judgment?
Well, Judge, I have all of my documentation here. I have a whole stack of papers,
And what are you documenting?
I have all my paycheck stubs. I have 5 pages of detailed expenses and what I pay out each month. I brought copies of all of my bills.
Okay.
I would request that even if I have to sit through everyone else, that this be resolved today, because every time I have to come, I have to take time off work. And I am unable to pay on this, and I can prove that. I am paying out more per month than I have money coming in. I'm having to borrow against my paycheck in advance to get through the week. I had to do that again today.
Ma'am,
And I have proof of all that.
let's assume that you have astronomical bills. Even if that's the case, the court could order a garnishment which would intercept up to 1/4 of your net disposable income. So this has been a 10-year-old judgment. The creditor has the right to get paid. I'm asking you what is possible to pay. If you don't want to give me an answer, I'll just issue the garnishment order, and that'll be probably more than you want.
Well, there is no money left to pay anything.
You're not understanding, ma'am. It's going to be taken out before you get it. So whether you want to do other things or have other obligations, are your wages being garnished by anyone else?
No, but my question is, what bill do I have that can't get paid? Because all my utilities are in disconnect. There's no money left over for groceries. I had to borrow money to put gas in my car to get here today. I am struggling. And I also contacted the law office and the original creditor, which was Goshen Hospital, for copies of these bills so I could look at them again before today.
I'm going to call a timeout. The issue of the judgment is long gone, years ago. Ma'am, please, listen, don't talk, listen. Long time ago. You're not going to appeal it, and you're not going to file a motion for relief from judgment that I will grant. So we have a judgment, and the creditor has a right to have it paid. I'm going to ask you for the 3rd time, what amount do you think you could, rearranging whatever you could, pay per week? If you don't want to answer me, that's fine, I know my answer. What is reasonable to you?
I'm unable to pay anything. I don't
Mr.
have-
Counsel, what's a reasonable amount of money that you'd like to see here?
Judge, I understand this is an unfortunate situation. I know you said a typical 25% would probably be if that was 100 a week. I could go down to 25 a week and just do 100 a month. I know that's probably more again than the defendant wants, but I'd be willing to do that.
Okay, that is very generous of you and certainly not necessary for you to do. But if you are willing to do a garnishment for less, I will enter that garnishment for less. I will indicate the standard 25%, but not to exceed $25 per week. So that in the event that a lower paycheck comes about, only $25 is going to come out. Ma'am, this judgment's been pending. It's going on a decade and 3 months from now. And while you might say, Judge, I have other things to pay, this creditor has been waiting patiently for a decade. And I'm not going to simply say, sorry, you don't have to pay anything, it's okay. It's not the way garnishment and collection works. Okay? So that being said, I've made my decision. Mr. Counsel has graciously agreed to have a garnishment for less. We're going to prepare a garnishment order on our end. My court staff will prepare it, and it'll say 25%, but not to exceed $25 per week. And that will go directly from your paycheck to the clerk of court.
May I speak?
For a little while, ma'am, but I really made my decision and there are 20 people behind you, but what would you like to share?
Because I was told to bring my budget and everything, so I brought everything. I mean, everything is in black and white. I'm not disputing that the money is owed. What I am disputing is that these are all from Goshen Hospital. I had Medicaid all that time. Why it was not turned over to insurance and turned over to collection is beyond me. But it should have all been taken care of many years ago. Also, my question is, I'm going to be retiring soon. So then what happens? Because there's no way this is ever going to get even a dent put in it before I reach full retirement age.
Okay. Let me start with your first issue, that you brought all your paperwork. The paperwork is something I would have gone through if you had proposed an amount that was reasonable. I'm not going to not have there be any payment on a decade-old judgment. So I'm going to assume what you have are astronomical bills. That doesn't change the fact that this creditor is the first one in line and has a right to a garnishment. Okay?
So if I say $10 a week, would you look at all this?
Not now, ma'am. You had 3 strikes. I asked you 3 times and told you I was asking. I've got 20 people behind you. I've made my decision. I'm not unsympathetic. But just as you can say, why would they wait so long to pursue this? Why would you wait so long when there's been a judgment on the books for 10 years and never pay a penny to the creditor? Okay. Ma'am, the hearing is concluded. I wish you a good day. Mr. Counsel, is there anything else that you'd like to say before you hang up?
I have nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, that'll conclude the hearing.
What happens when I retire?
You and the creditor can figure that out. And if you can't figure it out, he'll call for another hearing and he'll make a trip and we'll talk about those circumstances at that time. All right. I also see Mr. Towner or someone else from his firm.
You know, I feel for this woman because she waited 10 years, but she had 10 years to work on paying this. You know, she could have worked part-time. She chose not to. She could have worked while her kids were in school. And now she's going to have to get a second job. That's what I would think. I mean, it's not right to take the services of somebody, a hospital, whatever, and not pay them. And she could have gone to her insurer and found out why they weren't paying it and worked it out with the hospital and gone to all 3 of them. But she sat on her hands, basically flipped off the creditor, which is totally wrong. Anyway, again, the channel name is called Elkhart Court, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.